Cruise ships. What better way to spend your hard-earned week off than being sunburned in a floating sardine can with questionable buffet food and $15 drinks on the way to Cancun, Mexico, baby? Cruise ships are only becoming more and more popular, and as somebody who has actually had a fair amount of experience on them, I think it's about high time I explain the essence of cruising and answer the question, is it really worth it? Starting with the cruise lines themselves. Now, the first part of picking any cruise is, well, you know, choosing the cruise. First, you've got Carnival, which is, kind of known for being hot ass, but like in a sort of endearing way. Kinda? Come on, Carnival cruises can't be that bad. Like, what could possibly go, oh my god, okay. Alright, I get it, okay. Yeah, just type Carnival cruise fight into the YouTube search bar, infinite entertainment. Carnival is kind of known for being the Walmart of the seas, or, you know, scratch that, the Temu of the seas. It's cheap, it's chaotic, and your stateroom probably has a little bit of a weird smell that you can't quite place. You're probably either 22, fresh out of college, making $15 an hour, or just like a 45-year-old middle-aged dude, but either way, you are looking for a 3-day retreat to what is essentially a frat house on the water. Because you chose the Spirit Airlines of cruising for one reason, and that would be to get absolutely faced in the middle of the Bahamas on some island, probably called like Coconut Cove or Banana Bay, something that sounds like a friggin' Fortnite location. You don't care. You don't know where you're at. You're just happy the boat floats. You know, we take what we can get. And when you're not on land, you're probably doing the Macarena on the deck with the 4,000 other passengers, all at the same time somehow. Booking Carnival is in essence signing up for the budget-friendly, crazy, unhinged cruising experience. And you know what? Sometimes that is exactly what you need. Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is just out on a mission to see how many people they can stuff into their floating cities. I mean, they have the largest cruise ship on the face of the earth. Oh wait, never mind. They actually have all 7 of the largest cruise ships in the world. Goddamn, they don't mess around. Royal Caribbean, in my mind, is kind of like your upper middle class of cruising. You know, this is where your suburban American family goes for their week-long Mexican Riviera cruise. They bring the kids who, you know, pick their noses and lick all the handrails. Keep building that immune system, little one. Maybe the grandparents get to tag along where they lock in for the bingo battle of their lives every night in the atrium. Dad gets to put little Timmy's college savings on red in the casino. Mom gets her $16 margarita. You know, overall, everybody's happy here. Norwegian. Now, Norwegian Cruise Lines is actually the only one I've ever been on, but I've been on it, I swear, like 10 times. And from what I understand, you know, on the civilized scale, it's probably somewhere between Royal Caribbean and Carnival. Maybe a little closer to Royal Caribbean. Their whole thing is freestyle cruising, which basically means you just get to pick everything about your trip.
There are cruise lines that tell you what to wear, when to eat, and who to eat with. Then there's freestyle cruising. Only from Norwegian Cruise Line, where you're free to whatever.
You get to pick what you eat, when you eat, where you eat, what you wear when you go to eat, all of these kinds of things, which might sound not very crazy to you, but from what I understand, some cruise lines actually have scheduled eating time slots for you. In assigned seats, too? Why are we doing that? This is not kindergarten lunch. Anyway, you get to make a lot of the decisions about what you do on a Norwegian cruise, but believe me, they're gonna nickel and dime you every time you do. That I can assure you. God forbid you gotta use the Wi-Fi on a Norwegian cruise, or probably any cruise for that matter. You're gonna have to take out a mortgage on that sucker. Now, I could be wrong, you can let me know in the comments, but I feel like Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and MSC are all kind of in like a similar cruising tier. Virgin is just one big floating midlife crisis. This is where your 3-time divorced 52-year-old uncle goes after impulse buying a Corvette Stingray. And ain't nothing stopping him from flirting with all the 20-something-year-olds on that ship. I mean, this man is dangerous. Virgin's whole shtick is that they're a cruise for adults. They don't let anyone under 18 on their ship. Which is honestly a godsend, because I swear everywhere else the little kids exponentially multiply day by day, licking the handrails and turning the pool deck into a doggone jungle gym. Princess Cruise Lines is the retirement home cruise line. Going back to the civilized scale, Princess is on the total polar opposite of Carnival. This is where Gramps goes to, you know, enjoy bird watching in Costa Rica, experience fine wine tasting in Tuscany, relish in cultural immersion in Spain, that kind of thing. I've looked at my YouTube analytics before. Chances are if you're watching my videos, you're not booking a Princess cruise. Viking. Now, Viking Cruise Lines is Princess Cruise Lines on steroids, and I mean that in the most retirement home steroid way possible, like crochet bingo steroid. This is where mofos named Reginald probably choose to cruise. I mean, they send ships down rivers. Need I say more? Disney Cruise Lines is just hell. You've basically just put a daycare on floaties and sent it out to Castaway Cay. Please, by all means, enjoy your $100 Mickey-shaped waffles, because just 15 feet away, there is a horde of children who are hyped up on an excessive amount of caffeine and sugar. at 9 in the morning. I'm so thankful my parents never subjected me to the horrors of a Disney cruise with the real-life Mickey and Goofy characters. I would have probably leapt off the ship. Now that you've picked your cruise line, it's time to figure out where you're going. Because at the end of the day, it's not the journey that matters, it's the destination. Or that's not how that goes, is it? So let's take a look at some routes. Are you going to take the week-long journey down the side of Mexico? Or are you going to do a little weekend getaway to the Bahamas? And yes, I do literally say a weekend cruise because there are 3-day cruises where you hop on the boat, raid the buffet a few times, put on 10 pounds, and then hop off. Right off. That's a 3-day cruise right there for you. See, this that I found here might just be the worst cruise ever. They leave out of Sydney, Australia, putt around in the water for a little bit, and then go right back. That ain't a cruise. That's a $400 ferry ride. Give me a damn canoe, I'll do the same thing. Now, what a lot of cruise lines are actually doing is building their own islands.
Celebration Key, a 65-acre development with a mile-long white sand beach, freshwater lagoons, and a water park.
They'll just buy some little island in the Bahamas, load it up with as many bars as possible, throw in a few pools here and there, and give it like a generic tropical name. I don't know. Coconut Bay, Crystal Clear Cove, Paradise Palms. And from their standpoint, it's kind of genius. I mean, think about it. What's the one time on a cruise where you're not just forking your money over to them? When you're on land, shopping at other businesses. But if the cruise owns the land, well, shoot, your vacation is just a money printer for these guys.
And it's paying off. Perfect Day at Coco Cay cost Royal Caribbean over $250 million in renovations. But a UBS analysis estimated the island was on track to generate an additional $100 million in annual profit.
Take a look at Labadee, Haiti, owned by Royal Caribbean. This is probably the last functioning part of the country. I mean, everything else in Haiti is kind of in shambles, if we're being real here. I mean, look at this gorgeous, pristine piece of tropical paradise, and then you've got an actual online GTA lobby about 100 miles away in Port-au-Prince. But I mean, hey, if being stuck on a corporate, cultureless island isn't your speed, then you can always opt for the 9-month Royal Caribbean Ultimate World Cruise that hits over 150 spots in over 60 countries, all on board the luxurious Serenade of the Seas. Why did I say it like that? Which starts at a cool $54,000. Holy shit. Guys, if this video gets 20 million views, I know it's a light ask, I'll do it for you. Yeah, more likely though, you're gonna probably choose one of these here. Now, you might think that the starting prices on some of these normal cruises look a little bit expensive, but let me tell you, my friends, we're just getting started because we haven't even factored in all of the packages and all of the other little upselling they're gonna do on you. Which brings me to the packages. A cruise wouldn't be a cruise without, well, bankruptcy, really. And no, I'm not talking about that kind of bankruptcy. I'm talking about bankruptcy for you, my friend. Lucky for you, your cruise line will offer a plethora of opportunities for you to fork over your hard-earned cash to them. Let's just take a look at Royal Caribbean for a second because they are the most popular cruise line. For all the middle-aged moms out there, they've got the Cafe Select card for $31. You can also get the classic soda package for $15 a day, and it comes with a souvenir cup. Oh my stars. There's the deluxe beverage package for any drink, anytime for $115 a day. And let's not forget the Wi-Fi. They kind of make finding the price on this thing impossible, but according to Cruise Critic, it's like 20 doubloons a day. The ultimate dining package is $496 a person, and you know what? There might be other packages than what I just mentioned, but I'm kind of lazy, so let's assume that you go for 7 days and get the deluxe beverage package, the ultimate dining package, and the Wi-Fi package. That'll cost you an extra $750 a person. Oh my god. And that's of course not even including the spa, arcade credits, photo packages, whatever they're selling to you on the boat. They always got little shops and other things too, probably. But let me assure you, the price is not the most outlandish part of the cruise. No, my friends. The craziest part of any cruise are the other people that are on it. Which brings me to cruise ship people. People on cruises are their own breed. This is no secret. There's always the obnoxious pool deck guy, cruise ship Karen, who always wants to speak to the captain. You're lying! Someone always falls down a flight of stairs. It's kind of a mess. There's always the pasty white dad who takes his shirt off and refuses to put on sunscreen because he's in absolute denial about his lack of melanin. This man is actively transforming into a tomato in front of our eyes. You've got the clueless grandparents. You know, they're kind of just there for the ride. I distinctly remember one time seeing a grandma wearing a black shirt with like a golden Canadian flag on it, but instead of the maple leaf, it was just weed. What are the odds that she had no idea that that wasn't the actual Canadian flag? I would say very high. And let me tell you this, on the days that that you're not in port, so the days that you're just at sea, don't even think about going to the deck anytime past 8 a.m. Every spot has been conquered. There are no chairs left. There is no floor left. Again, I've already said this a couple times, but you've got the little kids that just permeate through the whole ship. And these little buggers are the reasons I've gotten sick on like half of the vacations I've been on. And you know what? Me licking my hands clean as a kid before eating probably didn't help. One time I remember getting so sick on a cruise, I threw up like 11 plus times in a single day in our stateroom and had to get shots in my butt by the cruise ship doctor. That was a scarring moment I'll never forget. Had to have like 3 cruise ship employees and my dad all pinned down each of my limbs so I couldn't squirm away while she delivered the shot. Also hurt like hell because I was just clenching my butt cheeks the whole time. Am I sharing too much? I think I'm oversharing. Anyway, all of those germs are why on Norwegian specifically, whenever you go to the big back buffet, that is the all-you-can-eat cafe at the back of the ship, there's always an employee waiting for you with hand sanitizer, and they always say, washy, washy, happy, happy, and they spray your hands, and you're clean.
Washy, washy, falling down, falling down.
And you know, with all of the crazy individuals that decide to go on cruises, we've got to give some props to those employees who do all of that hard work, because they don't got it easy. Which brings me to the cruise ship crew. Now, usually cruise ships will have about 1 crew member for every 2 or 3-ish guests, so you're gonna see these guys a lot. One of the first things I noticed on Norwegian was that most of the employees were either from like Indonesia or the Philippines. There's also a lot of Indians and people from different Caribbean islands too. Now, they typically hire these people from poorer countries because of how the labor is just cheaper over there. They also typically register the ships outside of the United States to avoid our labor laws. So that's why cruise ships have random places like Nassau or Hamilton or Panama on them. One thing you don't see on cruises behind the scenes are the long hours that the crew put in every single day. These guys are working like anywhere from 8 to 10, 12, 14-hour work days. It's insane. Typically, employees on cruise ships will work for long periods of time. They'll stay on the ship for like 8 months and then take the rest of the year back at home and just kind of repeat that cycle over and over. The work is long and hard. Pause. But they do get to see the world, so that is a perk. Also, as I mentioned, a lot of these people are coming from poorer countries where the salaries just aren't as great anyway. They also have separate living quarters in a different part of the ship from the passengers, and it doesn't look too bad. It honestly just kind of looks like a smaller version of a college dorm. But while you're on board, it goes without saying, the crew run everything though. The slides, the games, the bars, the restaurants, the laundry service, everything. And I mean, cruise ships are getting bigger and crazier all the time. I mean, look at this cruise ship from today and this one from a long time ago. I don't know, editing me, find something good to put up there. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So with that in mind, let's see what there actually is to do on board. The amenities. So I just got back from a cruise last year in Europe on the Norwegian Viva, and that thing had a whole go-kart track. And that's not even the only impressive thing some of these ships have. I mean, we're talking ice bars, roller coasters, drop slides, ropes courses. So check this out. Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas is the largest cruise ship on Earth, and it had its maiden voyage back in January 2024. It can hold almost 10,000 people at once, and I mean, just look at it. How does this thing even float? And get this, for the low price of basically double the average American salary, you can get a week in the ultimate family suite, which comes complete with 3 stories, a built-in slide, big ass TV, table with screens on it for some reason, a musical staircase, and a private balcony with a jacuzzi and a view of the peasants beneath you. And again, only about $10,700 a night. Does that sound appealing to you? Now, I know myself and my audience, so we can just get the little windowless shitter for $700 to $2,000 a week instead. But back to what else there is on the ship. I mean, we're talking all kinds of restaurants. Like Norwegian has an amazing Brazilian steakhouse on board. God forbid I get in there. I'm putting the company out of business. My card is always green. You've got clubs, you've got bars, lounges. Most cruise ships have a giant theater where they have plays and other events. So you've had your fun on the ship, but now it's time to actually get off and explore some of the places you're stopping in, which is where excursions come in. Once you get off the boat, you're free to immerse yourself in the rich culture of a new place, trying delicious cuisine, connecting with friendly locals, and enhancing your cultural perspective by broadening your... You have 5 hours to explore an entire city. You have a few hours on land, and then you need to get your ass back on the boat. They really do rush you on and off land, because when you're there seeing someplace, it becomes a grind. I told you I went on a cruise last year to Europe where we stopped in Istanbul and had a total of 8 hours to explore a city of over 15 million people. Not possible. Not possible. And that really is the trade-off of being able to see so many places in such a short period of time. You just don't get that much time in each spot, at least as compared to if you visited them individually, of course. Which brings me to the most important part, hold on, I gotta get close for this one, of cruising. When you get off the boat,
Don't miss the boat when you get back on.
when they leave, They leave. They barely want to make up your room as it is. They're not waiting for you. And if you do miss the boat, you're gonna have to hightail it to the next spot on your own so you can catch the boat again. Not fun. So please go on ahead and enjoy your $300 Naples pizza tour or your $200 Stingray swim along, $400 dolphin bingo, I don't know. Just remember the time. That way when you do get back on the boat, you can go and raid the all-you-can-eat buffet. Which brings me to the food situation. From what I know and have experienced, most cruise ships have an artery clogging, endless, diabetes-inducing buffet. This place for me is actually physically dangerous, and I love it. And it's not even dangerous because the food is bad or anything. In fact, quite the opposite. You'll probably find the assortment of caloric wonders to be one of the best parts of the trip. Either that or I'm just a big back at heart. I don't know. But no, the buffet is dangerous because it's just always there. Always begging you to go down 6 plates of food mindlessly. And what can I say? When it comes to being on a cruise ship, any sense of self-control that I might have on land, out the window. Out the window. I mean, you've got everything you could possibly want right at your disposal. We're talking pizza, pasta, curry, endless soft serve ice cream, cakes, little unidentifiable sugar squares you've never seen before, salads, actually no, you're not touching those. I think if you threw George Washington into a modern day cruise ship buffet, I mean, he'd be so proud. He'd probably tear up. I mean, that's the American dream at work right there. Like I said, I've only ever been on Norwegian, but from what I understand, some other cruise lines have assigned seating and assigned scheduled eating times. So you're just stuck with some random mofos for the entire duration of the trip, which could be awesome if they're nice people, but it could be also like Mark Smith, who only discusses mortgage rates and his golf handicap. Next thing you know, you're 2 hours deep into a stock market conversation. Actually, we don't want to have those anymore. I think I may have just crystal balled myself 30 years in the future there. That Mark Smith personality I just described, that's every white male's predestined future right there. Now let's get into some goofy cruise quirks. Since cruises are basically floating cities, there's usually no need to worry about boat movement, seasickness type thing. You pretty much never feel the movement of the boat, but sometimes you certainly do. I know you've all seen the videos of half the room shifting to the other side of the ship, and I mean, yeah, that hardly ever happens. Unless you're on Carnival. That's probably just standard practice over there. But nothing could be as bad as the infamous poop cruise. Back in 2013, Carnival's Triumph set sail for what was supposed to be a relaxing Caribbean voyage. But things got real shitty when a fire broke out in the engine room, leaving the ship dead in the water and causing the toilets to stop working. That is when the true chaos began. With no running water, sewage started backing up, flooding hallways, pooling in bathrooms, and even seeping into rooms. Passengers had to use red biohazard bags as makeshift toilets and sleep in the open deck to escape the ungodly stench. It was basically Lord of the Flies with unlimited shrimp cocktail and a casino that probably didn't work. For 5 days, over 4,000 people were trapped on the floating hellscape that was the Carnival Triumph. Now, Carnival, in all of their generosity, compensated passengers with a full refund, $500, a free flight home, and my favorite of all, get this, future cruise credit, baby. 5 days of living in human filth, and they give you a ticket to do it all over again. Sign me up. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't discourage you too much from cruising, because really, that doesn't happen very often. Which is why some people even choose to retire on cruise ships, because sometimes living on a cruise ship can be cheaper than rent. According to this probably incredibly reliable AI overview I just Googled, the average cost per month of living on a cruise ship can range from about $2,100 to $2,400 per person. Now that's probably on a pretty tight budget, but $2,400 a month times 12 for a full year, that you're looking at about $28,800 a year. I guess if you're retired, you got the money saved up, you know, it's kind of doable. Personally though, I think I'd probably go a little bit insane if I had to spend any more time than like a month on a ship. I mean, the same ship, especially if it's a Disney cruise. I mean, I gotta hear Mickey go, what was that? Holy. Which brings me to the topic of getting off the ship. Disembarkation, baby! Now that your week of bankruptcy is over, it's time to get off the ship, and make no mistake, they're getting you off that puppy as fast as possible to pack on the next group of sardines. Now that your trip is over and they've officially milked you dry of every penny possible, they don't have to care about you anymore. And they don't. It is always kind of a sad feeling waiting in line to get off the ship just to go into the baggage claim frenzy below, because you'll realize it was never about the money. It was never about those tacky souvenirs you got that you'll never look at again. It'll just stay in a storage box somewhere in your attic. Heck, it wasn't even about the Instagram post you made that nobody cares about. It's all about the friends we made along the way. Never again will you see those casino slot machines you lost half your retirement fund on, or the piss-saturated salty pool that burned your eyes for 3 days. And no one can forget the bar that made your liver audibly scream for relief. But you didn't listen. You didn't listen. That is until you book your next one, because cruising isn't just a vacation, It's a lifestyle. You're one of us now. That's right, once you get sucked into the sunburned, all-you-can-eat madness, there's no going back, my friends. And to answer my question at the beginning, is cruising worth it at the end of the day? I say absolutely. Just be smart with your time and be smart with your money. That's all. If you want to hear me babble about something else for 10 minutes, click here or here. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. And until next time, goodbye.